to play it loud with over 20 awesome games.
Hello everybody, MechaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting video. And for this week's video, for my collection reflection video, where I take anything off the shelf, whether it be an actual game, it could be a limited edition thing for that thing, it could be controllers, I could be talking about a console, just anything I can pull off my shelf. I sit down once a week to talk about whatever I have in my collection, just give my overall thoughts and experiences on it. It's time for another video, and today we're going to be talking about the SNES Classic Edition, because you know what, this definitely holds a special place in my heart, because this is the one home console I have no experience with, and I don't actually own the original version for this system at all, period. So when Nintendo came out and started doing their Classic Edition consoles, they started off with the NES one. I have that one. And then obviously they did the SNES one next. I skipped out on the NES and I had to go back and get the first one though. But the SNES one, when I saw that one, and this thing originally sold for like what, $80 MSRP, I just knew I had to get it because I just wanted to complete that one little piece of Nintendo goodness that I managed to skip over, because like I had an NES and I had a Nintendo 64, and I was like, you know what, I need to make up memories for lost times for not being able to have this system though. So that's the system we're going to be talking about today in this one video though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date. All things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. So the SNES Classic, all right, so we know Nintendo has made two of these things. They made the NES one, then they turned around and made the Super Nintendo one. And this one's dear to my heart because I never owned a Super Nintendo. I don't know why, it just happened to be one of the few consoles that I just happened to skip over. Like I had an NES and N64. Those were the first two consoles I ever grew up with. And I skipped the GameCube and didn't get that one recently until like a couple of years ago. And I had the Wii, I had the Wii U, and then obviously I had the Switch. And in terms of handhelds, like I had the GBA, DS, 3DS. I didn't have the original Game Boy Color though, but you know, looking at it now, I don't feel like I'm missing out too much on that. And they have all those virtual console games on almost every other console that came after it though, so I don't feel like I'm missing too much from the original Game Boy line though. But this one, I know there's some great games that were on this system that were genre defining for a lot of things back in this 16-bit era, where I'm like, hey, shoot, there was a lot of games I heard good things about that I just definitely had to go through and just, you know, re-experience though. But, you know, when you actually just look at the actual console itself, like, you know, I don't know what rough size they said that this thing was. Like, I feel like it's like a third of the size of the original one though, but it's nice to be able to actually hold something that's actually, you know, very similar in terms of what the actual original model was. Because I mean, this is the small version. The original one I think will be like way up to here or something like that though, just for scale comparisons though. But honestly, you got every little feature on here that you really need. I mean, the front, even though you can't plug in those weird ports for the original SNES controllers, you just literally pop open this front and then you actually manage to be able to get up in here and plug the ports in there, which it's the same port as the one that you would take your nunchucks from your Nintendo Wii and plug it into the bottom of the Wii. So it's weird why they did that in comparison to just, you know, not doing, you know, just maybe some USB. I think it's before USB-Cs managed to get hot, but just like a USB port in general, it would have been a little nice or a little more convenient if they managed to do that one though. But I don't know, it is what it is though. Obviously you have the reset thing, which when you're up in the emulation menu of the SNES Classic in general, you just do that and that actually pops you back out of the game though. And then obviously you got your power on and off though. Not a lot on the very back, you just have the spot where your HDMI comes out, and then just a simple thing just to plug your power up into. So overall, a nice little system. The one thing I did like about this thing, a little bit better than the first one with the NES Classic, is it does come with two controllers on here though. So I do have like one of them that's like right here I got in my hand though, and then my second one I got in my room. It's next to my original NES Classic, because you can use the SNES Classic controllers and plug it into the original NES Classic and be able to use that for either system though. So these controllers are a little more versatile than the other one though. So overall really good. I do like the way how the buttons feel on it. It feels pretty authentic, though I don't have like any true experience with the actual controller though, but it feels like what it should honestly be about. But in terms of the most important thing with the system is obviously is the games. And even looking at it like right now at the front of the box, you had like it was advertised Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, F-Zero, Super Mario Kart, The Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, all great smashing hits though. And they managed to throw out, I think, at least 21 different games for this one system. And all, I don't think there was anything on here that was like a snub, something that should have been left out, or something that should have been added back up in here though. Because if we look at all the games that were offered up on the system, we have Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, that's a great game. Earthbound, that's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Final Fantasy 3, which is technically Final Fantasy 6. F-Zero, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Superstar, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Street Fighter 2, Turbo, Hyper Fighting, Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart. That's a grown man's game because oh shoot, that game's rough right there. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. We did get a remake of that recently on the Nintendo Switch, but then you're able to play the original on here. Super Mario World. Super Metroid, great game right there. Super Punch Out, The Legends of the Link to the Past, and Yoshi's Island though. So yeah, so all some very good smashing hits on here though. But the one key thing that a lot of people really opened their eyes when this system was revealed and showcased to the public was that shiny Star Fox 2 right there. Yes, a never before released game actually releasing on this mini console system right here. And you would think I wish more companies would actually go back and re-release games that were never finished like that. I think there's a lot of charm when you actually manage to do that, and actually be able to release a retro game in modern day times. That was just something quite different. Obviously, in order to get that game, you have to unlock it. So I think you have to beat the first level of the first Star Fox game in order to unlock Star Fox 2, though. But honestly, I could see where a lot of the ideas from was it Star Fox Zero on the Wii U that kind of stem from this original Star Fox 2 that was never before released, though. So yeah, for the longest time, that game was locked on this one console right here on this SNES Classic. But then recently, then they managed to go back and add it into I think it's actually available for the SNES online app right now for NSO subscribers, though. So yes, if you don't manage to have the SNES Classic, there is ways at how you can technically go through and play the game now, so you don't have to worry about it being locked up though. But this is happened to be the first way how that game was revealed. And you know what? I still go back and look at that reveal trailer and just seeing all the different things of kind of give you that old 90-ish vibes when this console originally released. And I don't know, I just look back at it and it just seems. I don't know. It just takes me back to more simpler times where we're not worrying about DLC, games not being fully updated or stuff and not being fully finished. Like all these games were finished back then, though. So this to kind of relive all of that was really cool. One of the modern things I did like about this system was the fact that you do have the rewind feature ability, which that was the first time we have ever seen it. Period. I mean, yes, we had like save restore points. I think via like the Wii U and stuff, but be able to rewind. Man, that is a game changer because there's some games, especially back in those times, it was really punishing to be whether it be your platforming or maybe you made a mistake in an RPG or something like that, where it's like, man, if I could just rewind the clock just a little bit, I would do this, and this a little bit different. That could change the outcome, and maybe you can get past the level or beat the boss. But yeah, that is a thing on this system though, so that is really cool. The UI, just in general, like the music and the way how you kind of traverse and just look at the games, honestly, some really cool stuff right there. And I could talk about any one of these games on the back forever. Like all of these games, like I managed to play through a good chunk of them. I mean, I hadn't finished RPG though, but Super Mario World's great. I still need to finish like Leap to the Past. Super Mario Kart, yes, I played that. But Yoshi's Island, though, that was a game I think I actually started and finished on this one system. By far is the best Yoshi game, period. There's not been a single one that has came anywhere remotely close to it since then, though. And it's just a darn shame because I think Yoshi has a lot of potential, but I feel like they're babying that series down too much, though. But when you play Yoshi's Island, oh my goodness, Man, that was great. And that final boss thing, though, man, that sucker hits real hard, though. But, there's a lot of great games in the SNES era, and they managed to get like just a small portion of it, of some of those major hitters. And it's not even, the whole exact complete collection. Cause like even with the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, like that was a whole entire trilogy on the SNES, and we only had the first game on here. You can go through and play the second and third one on the SNES online app. Luckily, I think a good chunk of almost all these games, minus Super Mario RPG, but you got the remake on the Switch now, is playable on the SNES online app. So it's not like if you don't have this system, you're missing out on anything. I mean, there might be like an exception on this thing, and nothing's kind of coming to mind while I'm looking at it. I feel like most of these are on there now, except for Mario, the original Mario RPG. So honestly, if you don't own this system, you're not really missing out unless you're just like a diehard collector or someone like me who really wanted something just to kind of hold on to, just be a little tangible. Because technically, by you buying this, you actually own all these games now. Because now, like what we're moving into the subscription-based service model, so you're not really technically owning those games on the NSO app anymore, though. But via this, I technically do. So it is kind of cool just to kind of think about it from that point perspective, though. But honestly, this is a really nice thing. I wish we'll get more systems like this in the future, though. However, with the NSO and the way how they're doing stuff right now, it could be a very long time till we get another classic console like that. Because obviously, their focus is on the Switch. Whatever the future successor console could be, and obviously selling the online subscription based thing. But if we were to get another mini console, I think the next one will probably be for the Nintendo 64. I feel like that's a pretty good one that they could basically do next. And then obviously do GameCube. I don't know if they will ever mess with handhelds and doing that, because I don't know, because it's like what you're playing with a small screen again, and you have to put in like some LCD lights and stuff. I just don't see them messing around with the handheld though, but I could see them still doing stuff in the future for maybe the home consoles, but it's going to take a considerable long amount of time before we get anything like an N64 Classic or even a GameCube Classic to actually appear up, though. But who knows? Maybe on some major anniversary in the future, it might be a possibility, though. But overall, I really do like, and I really do like and appreciate this system quite a bit. While yes, I don't necessarily boot this thing up and play it nearly as much as like before we had the NSO games show up for those SNES games, still admire it. I still hold on to this box just to kind of remind me of, what could have been if I managed to actually own this console as a kid when I grew up playing the NES and the Nintendo 64. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all do you think about this SNES Classic Edition? Did you manage to pick up one yourself? Or you're someone that kind of missed the boat on that and was like, man, I'm looking back at it. You saw what this video encompassed and you just kind of did some digging and research and like, man, I wish I would have had one of these. I had no idea how much these things were selling on eBay. I didn't even look into the price before even shooting this video though, but it could be stupidly expensive by that point. So I don't know though. But yeah, so honestly, really cool system. Nintendo, bring these things back in the future, bring them back though. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of this video right here. So if you really like it, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.